If you could spend a moment with some remarkable people and discover what their life sounds like, what would you ask? Welcome to Are We On Air? An audio encounter. I'm Armand Nafei, and each episode will feature one conversation with an inspiring friend of mine who will share with us the soundtrack to their life. Bonjour mes amis, and welcome back to another episode of Are We On Air? From sunny and gorgeous Paris. Last week I was in London visiting this week's guest, which is the fantastic DJ and producer that is Maria, aka the Blessed Madonna, formerly known as the Black Madonna. Well, I was invited to Maria's studio in Hackney, where we got to chat about her wonderful life and musical journey. We've covered everything from her humble beginnings to her residency at Chicago's iconic Smart Bar, and her friendship with the late and legendary Frankie Knuckles. But we also touched on her newfound life as a pop music producer, and her incredible collaboration with our dear friend, the fantastic Dua Lipa. But we also covered, of course, her latest incredible gig at Coachella with our friend Honey Dijon, and what it was like closing down that festival. And, of course, what her all-time favorite gig ever special moment was, which was at Panorama Bar / Berghain in Berlin. Well, lots to cover, and let's get to it. But as always, before we start, follow us on Instagram at Are We On Air, on Apple, Spotify, and areweonair.com for all the episodes and playlists. Now, clap your hands and sing hallelujah.
That is amazing. Right? Oh my God.
It's funny, every artist, they're all like, what are these? Like, even yesterday I interviewed Chronix, and he was like, what are these mics?
Oh my God. I'm rushing to the internet after this.
Shout out to our friend Tiga here for the rec.
Tiga, God bless you.
Well, Maria, the Blessed Madonna, welcome to Are We On Air?
Hi, and welcome to London.
Thanks for having me in Hackney. You know, the last time I was in Hackney was probably 15, 20 years ago. I used to live in London. I used to come to raves, and now it's like gentrified and all chic.
Yeah, this was rave town over here.
Yeah, it was major. It's nice to be back. Feels homely, and thanks for having me in your studio.
Of course. Cool. Come back and stay anytime. We got a couch.
Yeah,
we'll get a little blanket.
I love it. How many artists have slept on this couch?
3. It just me and the other 2 people that use the studio. I think that's it.
The last time I saw you, you were still the Black Madonna.
I was.
Yeah.
I still am deep down inside.
Deep inside, we're still the Black Madonna. And it was at the Prada Double Club in Miami.
Which was very black and white.
Very black and white. Oh
it
my
was,
God,
that was the most astonishing thing I have ever seen in my entire life. It was like, it's hard to even explain if you were not there, but everything was literally grayscale, including the makeup for everybody in there. So you felt like you were stepping into a black and white television.
Yeah.
Or a black and white film. And it was absolute, and the DJ booth turned and rotated 360. It was the most incredible place I've ever played.
Yeah. Insane, right? Like,
completely insane.
I mean, one of our guests on the show was also Carsten Höller, who was the artist who created that concept. And one thing I didn't know, because I was also so busy and, I was doing the music curation and programming and stuff, but inside the club that you're talking about was black and white, so our listeners who don't know.
Sure.
And the outside was like colorful and Caribbean. We're in Miami. And,
amazing.
And one thing when I interviewed him, I didn't notice back then, was in the black and white club. Not only was everything chromatic and everything black and white, the images you see of the design, the booth, and the liquor, but also the staff. They were wearing, I think, black
contacts.
Contact lens? Yeah.
Yeah, and like makeup to kind of gray out their.
white.
Yeah, totally. It was one of the craziest things I have ever seen in my life. And I was like, they were like, can we get you a drink? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, I was like, okay, well, you know, I'll have bourbon is what I drank at the time. I really don't drink anymore. But and they're like, okay, just so you know, we're gonna have to put a little charcoal tablet in it to turn it black.
No,
yeah,
really?
totally. They were like, all the drinks have to be the color of the room. And I was like, okay.
Yes.
It was so cool.
To the detail. He's actually opening a restaurant in Stockholm now. And it's called the Brutalist Kitchen. It's and everything you can imagine. So
I'm going to have to take my husband.
Yeah,
my husband has Brutalist paper dolls. He builds little Brutalist cities. I know. Yeah, he's a total psychopath. So we're gonna have to go for sure.
Oh my God. Yeah, you have to. Well, Are We On Air? What's Are We On Air? It's like painting a picture of your life through a couple of songs.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that we finally got to sit down and get together.
I'm so thrilled you're here. It has been ages.
Long time coming.
Did you have a nice plague?
I mean, that was quite something, especially for our world, right?
It was very special. That is one way to describe it. It was very special. It was the longest vacation I've ever had.
But we're back at it now.
We're back at it.
You're touring, right?
I'm touring.
Yeah.
My brain has returned to the texture of scrambled eggs. And I'm about 30 IQ points lower than I was before. But in general, it's been really great. It has just been lovely.
And you created like the perfect soundtrack for that period with your track, what's it called again?
Oh, well, I had a few things, but the levitating thing.
No, Dua Lipa one. The one about
that, yeah.
where you have your voiceover.
Oh, yeah, that, it's literally called Maria.
Maria, that's the one. There you go.
It's one of the song titles I can remember. Yeah. Fred names everything after whoever the person is, and yeah, that's a part of like just a really long conversation that he captured. This year, we've had to lose our space. We've lost dancing. He was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I was like, "Whoa." And then, at that point, Fred had never even played a show. The album wasn't out. You know, it was like, so there was no real sense of what was going to happen with him. I mean, well, I knew that Fred was great. I knew, but I don't think any of us really grasped the kind of, you know, music meets the moment kind of thing that happened.
Was that already in the works, in the plan beforehand, or you like, now's the time, let's do something?
No, so I've known Fred for quite a long time. We met on a retreat. We went to Palestine together to do an artist retreat. It was great. Wow, yeah, me cool. And him and Roisin Murphy, and we worked with a bunch of the best musicians in all of Palestine, like really incredible. And Fred had come because he was, I think, kind of like working in Brian Eno's studio, and Brian was going to come but couldn't, and so Fred came, and it's one of those times where you meet somebody and you just know that they're going to be important in your life. Yeah. And I just adored him immediately, and we ended up having actually the same management as time went on. But even when he was making the album, like, he brought things over to listen. And we've just always, we've always been close. And we were in the middle of lockdown, and he was like, do you think, could you talk just a little bit about lockdown or what this is like? And I was in just the depths of it. I was having a very grim moment in my lockdown.
Yeah.
It's London. The sun hasn't been out for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And, everything was kind of going wrong. And I am one of those people that is just like an optimist, like whether it makes sense or not. And even if I don't feel it, like optimism is not something I even feel. Like I'm actually kind of bleak as a person, but I kind of force myself to be optimistic. And so I just kind of started talking about what was going on. And then he pulled this whole long thing into a concise bit.
That's
and he
great.
does a longer version of it at the live show, which I finally saw at Coachella.
Well, we're going to talk about Coachella in a minute for
Yeah.
sure. But before we get to what's happening today, let's start where it all started. And with what's your earliest significant musical memory that shaped you as an artist?
It's funny. Apparently my first word is radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I that's what I'm told. Is that I
So
was
gaga of you.
Oh, I know, right? In so many ways. I was begging to have the radio turned on from my crib. From the crib. My dad was a musician. And so probably my first real early musical memory, I can remember seeing my dad play, and we often went to his shows, and I know that they took my little bassinet and would set it on a table. And I grew up the child of a guitar player, so that is a very special life to grow up with. A very special kind of curse. Yeah, I would say probably my dad.
Do you remember what he was playing? Is there a track? Maybe
I have this memory. I have this memory of my dad singing to me when I was at one of his shows and feeling so embarrassed.
Really?
Oh, I was mortified. Like quite.
Stop it.
Yeah, totally. And of course, I'm the only kid there.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that, like trying to figure out how music was with my dad and with our family and what it meant. And in his world, he was quite prominent, and so there was always a lot of I was Nick's daughter, and so there was a lot of all of that stuff was very mixed up for me.
But that kind of shaped you, in terms of who you are today.
Oh, for sure. My dad had a guitar in my hand by the time I was 5.
Do you play the guitar?
Poorly.
But at least a little bit.
I play most things a little bit and poorly. Very much a jack of all trades and master of absolutely none of them. But I grew up, I'm from Kentucky. My family's from Eastern Kentucky, and culturally, we're a very singing culture. So you grow up singing to each other in the house, and, all of that kind of, 3 and 4 part harmony, every family is kind of like the Judds a little bit, there is that whole thing about singing with your parents or singing.
It's so great though. I love that.
It's lovely.
Or is embarrassing as a child in a way?
Totally embarrassing. Yeah, absolutely. And I never got over that part of it. I still have a lot of shyness about certain aspects of music that I think is just because of, I guess my brain is wired that way, but also because, being in the shadow of my dad, who was just so great. It was like, well, what are you ever going to do that's like that?
Well, here we are. The Blessed Madonna. And how would you describe the Blessed Madonna in 3 songs that are not yours?
Sure. Oh, okay. Well, Metro Area, Mira.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
I think that's a perfect record.
Why? It's a great record.
It's elegant. It's sparse. It doesn't give in to, there are no low blows. It's thoughtful. It's both innovative and at the same time, the connection between that Metro Area album and the things that it references, it's clear. It's not like, I don't think anybody that worked on that album would say that there isn't just an obvious connection straight into Italo Disco. It's just I feel like it advances the ball. It is both incredibly modern but also timeless.
I was about to say, it feels so timeless. I mean, it's 12 years old now, something like that?
20.
20. Damn.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
I feel like it's got to be 20 years old. I think it's a Y2K release.
Oh wow, okay.
Around then, at least. Maybe 15, but it was between 15 and 20. The one that I returned to, and it never feels.
You still play it? You played it and you said?
Played it this weekend.
Yay!
Yeah! High five! I did. I whipped it out right there at the end of the set in Grenoble, and it felt lovely. It felt nice.
I mean, people...
Like an old friend.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love that. All right. Good choice.
Okay. Number 2. Let's see. Window Licker by Aphex Twin.
Ooh.
I like that he plays, again, I always like it when people play with convention. I think convention is how, as listeners, we orient ourselves, but at the same time, you can use it to disorient and to kind of, you can use convention to tell someone what world they're in, and then you can break convention to show people where the possibilities are. And, you know, in some ways, the record follows a lot of the conventions of even, like, you know, old boogie records or breakdance records or electro, you know, all of that stuff. And then sometimes it just completely glitches out and breaks form, and the way it uses voice, and of course the insane video, which I had on VHS when it was, that's how old I am. Amazing video. It really is like the perfect marriage of sound and sight. In general, all of Aphex Twin stuff is, but that for me was
it's the blueprint for a lot of things.
Absolutely, yeah. His work with Chris Cunningham and all of that. I mean, that was just a moment, and I'm always kind of thinking about that.
I had this conversation with Lucas Abad on the show as well. You talked about Window Licker as well, and we were saying the video. This is like, how old is it now? 25 years more.
97,
yes.
Maybe or closer to Y2K, but yeah,
something like that. And this is like Face Swap. Long time ago. Like
totally.
Now it's an app or whatever it is these days, but this is like...
Imagine the work that went into that. I mean, it's got to be insane. And all of those videos, that whole Aphex Twin, Chris Cunningham run is just completely insane. And I, you know, the fact that we're still talking about it all these years later.
Yeah.
And I guess third, you know, I'm going to be a liar if I don't say Like a Prayer by Madonna.
Yeah. I mean, Madonna plays a role one way or another in your life.
For sure. I think it's funny because my name doesn't come from her, but I think we're responding to all of the same stuff, like that sort of complex Catholic, you know, all of that stuff. It's one of those things. If you're one of those people, it's going to find a way to work itself out in the music and in who you are. And of course, obviously she was named Madonna at birth, but hell of a name.
I mean,
hell of a name.
Move from the parents. I got
a big flex on the part of her parents. And I don't know. I don't know if there could be a more perfect record. My parents went to go see Brandi Carlile at the Ryman in Nashville, and Brandi closed the show with like a prayer. Right. I mean, and Brandy's kind of like actually a living goddess. So,
is there a recording of that?
I don't know. I wish my mom had just recorded it on her phone. Like, what are you doing?
Let's see. Maybe we can find something. Maybe play that version.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think there's. If I had to say like what the most perfect single pop record is, that's it for me.
From all your gigs you've had over the years, was there one that stuck with you that you will never forget?
Oh my God, there are so many. The one that I would default to, though, is on Leap Day, February 29th, which only comes, however many years, every 4 years or whatever it is. I should know that. But I was playing in Panorama Bar, and they decided to close all of Berghain by pushing people. And usually you go down from Panorama into Berghain and then out. And then it's Monday afternoon. So I'd been playing for like 6 hours or something already. And they were like, we want to do something a little different. We want to close downstairs and push everybody up into Panorama Bar.
Oh, wow.
And so they'd already opened the blinds to close everything.
I love those blinds.
I love those blinds.
It's genius. It's genius.
Great.
Game changer. I was talking about this last night at dinner. It was about somebody.
Yeah. I think my record for getting them open is like 9 times.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? That's my record. But, at the very end of it, they open it up and, you kind of know that everything's going to end.
Church in a way,
it's so nice.
Like, what's that? God is coming through.
But they were like, so we're gonna push everybody up. Just, get ready. And of course, at this point, I've already played for 6 hours. And I'm like, oh my God, how long is this going to go on? And they closed the blinds again. And it was like night started over. And I put on...
What time was that, roughly?
Oh, maybe like 10 in the morning.
Berlin winter, so it's black.
Yeah. They were like, how long can you play? And I was like... I can play until you tell me to stop. Of course, I was dying already at this point. I ended up playing until like 1 o'clock or whatever, but they closed the blinds and I put on this really long record called Gravitational Arch of 10, which is this great techno record from the 90s. It's sort of like when trance was really good. It's like when a long time ago. Yeah, it's an incredible record by Vaporspace. Really just a phenomenal record. And it's just got this astonishing euphoric opening, and it was just like one of the most magic things that in my life. I will never forget that moment, like what the room looked like. And I remember people realized what was going to happen and that I had already played quite a long time. And people started coming up to the booth and giving me snacks out of their bags because they're like, like somebody brought me like a bar of chocolate and a banana and all this stuff that people had brought in their bags. It was like
community.
It was like, we know what's coming, and I was like, yes, all right.
Give that girl more sugar. She gotta go.
I was like, okay, someone get me a bottle of water and a club mate and 3 shots of bourbon, and I'm gonna eat this banana and the dark chocolate, and we're gonna fucking go until they say stop. And we did, and I played so long, and I don't really usually wear jeans to play anymore when I'm playing, especially for a long set, because I played so long that my jeans literally ripped a hole in the back of my ass. I was like,
you can do that there. It's fine.
When I finally got done, I went in there, this little employee bathroom, this, like the secret bathroom, and I was like, why does my butt hurt? And I looked in the mirror. I hopped up. There was this little mop sink, and I hopped up on the mop sink, and I looked, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, it looked like I had road rash, So I hopped up on the sink, and there's this garden hose, which I guess they used to fill up the mop bucket.
Tap water.
Yeah, right. And I just sat there and I sprayed it all over my back and my butt. I was like, oh my God. I mean, you could practically hear my butt sizzle. It was unbelievable. But it was without a question the single greatest day of my life.
When was this?
Oh my God, this had to be like 7 years ago.
Yeah, okay, great.
And I was limping down the stairs and literally limping. And somebody, my husband was there with me, and he was like, I met this guy, and he says he wants to be on the cover of a magazine. And I was like, haha, yeah, right. This is long ago, enough ago that I had barely even done any press. And then lo and behold, they had sent me a message, and I got my very first magazine cover, and it was like this moment. It was like that day was like the day where kind of I felt everything broke.
Amazing. What was the cover? What was the magazine?
Tracks magazine in France.
Nice.
Yes.
Congrats.
Yeah. Not only a DJ, but a model.
Oh, Prada, here we go.
Yes.
Well, another shared love of ours is, of course, the great Amanda Lear.
I have an Amanda Lear poster in my room.
Really?
I do.
I
do, overlooking my bed. It's like Amanda as some amazing, like almost like a griffin or something, like a winged thing. Really amazing illustration. I wish I had a picture of it, but it's great. It's from her German tour, from a German tour from the very late 70s.
Oh, God, I love it. I mean, you obviously saw that
Oh, yes. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, me too.
Jealous.
She was incredible. And I got lots of things signed, obviously.
I
signed this.
I would, if I were you, I would now have an Amanda Lear tattoo on my butt. Yeah, totally. Signature.
What's your favorite Amanda Lear track?
Follow Me. I mean, just because I have such beautiful memories of playing it.
Unbelievable, maybe you'll have a new identity for a second of vanity. I want to change your destiny. Unbelievable, maybe you'll have a new identity for a second of vanity. I want to change your destiny.
I have this really incredible edit. I don't know who did it, but I have this really beautiful long, like 12-minute edit that's just like really great.
I love it. You play it? You play a lot of Amanda in your sets?
Oh yeah, totally. Oh,
Yeah.
I have a whole Amanda Lear folder in the disco subfolder. Oh, I have like all of these like FLAC rips from vinyl, like weird rarities and things. Yeah, totally.
Can I take some?
Yes. Yes, you can. It's not here, but I'll send you some
Please,
things.
send me some music. We'd love
Yeah.
it. How much time do you spend a week researching music? How much music do you have on a USB when you play a gig?
Oh my God. So I have the kind of like right now folder, but then I have the big drive and I plug one in one CDJ and one in the other, and then I link them. The big one is like, I don't know, like 150 gigs or something, maybe, no, like 250. And then the small one is like 32.
That's like the quick one, the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, that's
this week.
Yeah, I have a kind of like running, like this is right now, but I don't really. I mean, I have an organization system, but I don't tag anything. I know, right? Crazy. But my one weird trick is that I kind of remember music like I kind of have a phonographic memory. Like I know where stuff is, even though like. I don't know. It's like a person who has a really messy room and they know where everything is.
Yeah.
It's actually not that messy, but yeah, it's in a week. I mean, it's kind of always because I have 3 hours on BBC every week and I have to fill all of it. And then sometimes I'm also filling in for other people. So like one week I was live on Six Music for like 9 hours or something.
Oh my God.
Which is quite a lot, really.
Do you always have to have new music, or you have a lot of like sometimes repetition? When you're honest with you.
Oh no, we have. When I'm playing, so the new folder, I try not to, I'm always kind of trying to be 75% there, and then maybe 25% legacy stuff. And then sometimes in the new folder, I'll pull things from the old FLACs and vinyl rips and things like that and put them into the new folder. But, I go through all the promos once a week. You have good weeks, you have bad weeks. Sometimes out of everything you listen to, 5% of it is even something you'd want to play or could play. I mean, I listen to every, like, for example, I have a whole process. The promo services that I'm on and whatever, and then emails or whatever. But then also like on TrackSource, I'll listen to every single new release.
Oh wow.
For the week that I like, if possible, I listen to all of them.
Damn.
In everything.
Not even genre defined. Just
within genre, but like like in the broad spectrum of techno and house and disco and whatever. But I mean, I play a lot of things, so I listen. It ends up, but I'm also when I say I listen to it, I mean I'm very fast. Like if you were in the room with me, you would want to blow your head off.
Yeah,
like it's like yes. No. Yes.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
And then I put everything onto an MP3 player that is not connected to the internet. Oh. It's like it plays high quality files. It's very nice. My husband got this for me. Ooh. It looks like a little. Yeah, it's super nice. It's very elegant, and it doesn't have Bluetooth or anything. And so it's I drag everything into there in the folders, and that's how I memorize where things are in the folders. And then I memorize the songs. And
do you prepare for particular gigs? Like
no.
You just show up, feel it. You feel the crowd, you feel the space.
It's only improvisation.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean,
also, I'm lazy.
Also, I'm busy.
Busy.
Do you sometimes go early? Like when, you have like, you come, I don't know, half an hour before your show just to feel the room, see the DJ?
Yeah, I'm always there at least half an hour before, a minimum. But sometimes I come a little bit earlier. In general, though, I try not to get there too early just because I'm quite a nervous person. And if I get there too early, I'll start thinking
too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of just like boom.
Yeah. Number one rule: don't think.
It's true. Yeah.
It's like baseball. You can't think.
It's all visceral anyway, and we have to feel the room.
Yeah.
What cocktail works tonight? Not it does. You can't repeat things anyway. Like every place is.
Yeah.
I mean, there are of course tracks that we play again and again.
Yeah.
But a different mixture today?
The preparation part of it, just the learning things, is the more important part. And when you get there, it's about responding. That's
Knowing your homework, done your homework. beforehand.
Yeah, because the whole room can change in one record. You know, like somebody comes by and plays before you, and the last record that they play can be totally different. You know, like I played with I play with Kink loads, and I think he's like the greatest.
He's great.
He's great.
Yeah, and he's doing it all live.
Yeah, Strahill is like he's the best. So we were playing in Madrid this weekend, and you know his whole set. I mean, he went up to way high BPMs, ravey, and then the last 15 minutes he brought it down and got into this. For me, totally. I was like,
this was fun. Let's go back to that though.
And then of course I got on and I'm like playing all this rave stuff. Yeah. So, but you know, if I thought too hard about what he was going to do, I would have come in, you know, with a bunch of Lone and 90s, you know, hardcore and, you know, things like that. And the truth is that really in the last 3 songs, he brought it down to a completely different place.
Amazing.
So you just kind of want to like, really the only thing that matters is the last record before you went on.
It's true. That's true. And what's your favorite King record?
Oh my God. That is tough. That is tough. You know, it's funny because what was that first thing that he did that I just loved? I mean, way before he was like really, really big. There was one that used a little bit of the Amen break. I cannot remember what it was called. Oh, I wouldn't even know where to tell you with him. I've seen him so many times. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that everything changes constantly with him. Like, you know, you may think that you're hearing one thing and he's just, because he is such an improviser, which I just admire so much.
I love that viral video of him where this kid just start playing the keys with him. Like, have you seen that?
I haven't, but that seems right.
He's like, he just reached over the booth and stopped playing the keys.
I love that.
That's so cool.
We were playing this weekend, and he was standing up in the booth, and he had this little thing, and he's like, do, he's, you know, banging. I was like, jeez, way to make me look dumb.
I'm just pressing play.
I know, like, hey guys.
But besides just pressing play, you're also the creative director at Smart Bar in Chicago, or were?
Yeah, I think it is now an honorary title in absentia.
Yeah, I mean, I guess back in the days you were more involved than today, day to day.
Yeah, I think as much as anything, it's a spiritual title at this point, and I'm still a resident. I'm going back for the 40th anniversary. I'm so excited.
When?
In July.
Nice.
Yeah, 40 years.
Damn.
Yeah, it's super great. And, you know, it's just such an honor to be a part of that system. And Joe Shanahan, the owner, is one of the smartest, kindest, weirdest, coolest people. You know, he has just been such a big part of my life. And to always feel like that connection is there. And even now, you know, I know that if I had something I really didn't know what to do, I feel like I could call Joe and talk to him about it, even just creatively. You know, he's just so smart and just such a big part of my life. And so July is going to be great.
Nice. What's the ultimate Smart Bar record for you? And did you ever meet and work with Frankie Knuckles?
So I did meet Frankie. Frankie and I actually officially became Smart Bar residents on the same day.
Wow.
I know, right? But his relationship there was a bit more storied than mine. He was the first DJ at Smart Bar, and play there regularly until he passed away. So, but I met Frankie right when we became residents officially at the same time. I met him at Gramophone. He was having doing an in-store at Gramophone Records, which I just love.
So cool. Yeah.
And he was sitting there signing CDs, and which is just great. And Derek Carter was there, and he had his dog Herman. We were all eating pizza, which is such a Chicago thing. And Frankie was so lovely. And I went up and I introduced myself and I said, "Hi, I'm Maria. I'm one of the residents at Smart Bar 2. It's an honor to me." He goes, "I love girl DJs." It's like, I was so happy. And he was like, "I'm hosting a DJ contest. You should get into it." And I was like, maybe I will. I did not, but I love that he even said that. And then I was also, at the time that he was, that we were residents at the same time, was also the assistant at the club, which is the executive director of hanging posters and cleaning up barf in the bathroom if nobody gets there first. Vice president of picking gum out of the DJ booth.
I know a couple of director of trash.
Yes, I was the
vice president of garbage.
Yes, yeah, I was the vice president of a lot of things. So I was responsible but there was a lot of just being there when he was there and making sure that he had everything. And it was a position of servitude, and I was delighted. I mean, I would have picked the gum out of his DJ booth forever. And then we had his last birthday party, which was one of the nights that I will never forget. It was this star-studded house, the kings and queens of house music. I mean, everybody, it was going to be this legendary thing with him and Louis Vega and David Morales playing. I think they were going to go back to back to back, and Ultranate, and it was just this,
and the Obamas,
and the Obamas.
It was back to back.
It was pretty much like that, and we had done all of this work to make it happen. And his best friend and his manager was there, Frederick Dunson. And Frederick, we were up in Metro, which is the venue above Smart Bar. They're connected. And Frederick said, "Can you come over here?" And, Joe and I ran over, and you could tell something was just right. And he goes, "I don't think Frankie's going to make it." And we're like, okay. I mean, actually, it was one of the moments that in my mind, I hold such respect for Joe, because he totally, he and Frankie had been friends since the 80s. And Joe, it was absolutely not promoter mode. He was like, "Well, Frederick, no, what's going on?" He's like, "What does he need? We can send doctors. What does he, not to get in there, but what does he need? Anything that he needs." Joe was ready to call his personal physician. And this is at 1 a.m. or something, And then a little time went back and forth, and then it was okay, Frankie's going to come. He may not be able to get downstairs, but he'll come. So Frankie shows up, and I mean, he's walking with a cane. He's very unwell. I mean, so we sat him in the green room in Metro upstairs, and it was just incredible. Everyone sat around him, and the party's just going off downstairs, and just everybody's just playing their absolute best. It's Chicago at its most perfect.
Hey, we're here live doing the sound setup for Frankie Knuckles' birthday party. It's January 19th, 2014. Happy birthday, Frankie. Here with Steve, Greg, and Laura Rosado doing setup and lighting. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
So long ago, I was just a boy.
sitting on the couch upstairs. You can hear it coming through the floor, and we have this guy, this great big security guard he would always be Frankie's guy, and he just sat on the floor next to him, and Frankie kind of received people, you know.
Godfather.
Yeah, totally. One at a time, people would come in, and then it was, you know, we knew he wasn't going to make it down into the club. I mean, it would have just been too hard, but we had to go downstairs and let everybody, you know, Frankie's here, but he's not feeling well. He's not going to be able to make it down into the club, but let's sing happy birthday to him. And the whole, you know, 400 plus people, however, you know, Spot Bar is not a big club. It's one room. It's a square box, you know, with an incredible sound system. That's it. And the whole crowd, 400 people sang to him, and you could hear it come up through the floor.
Wow.
And it was so beautiful, you know, and the divas on the mic, and it was just this incredible thing. And his birthday is, it's always Martin Luther King Day weekend. They have close to the same birthday. And that's middle end of January, like right around January 18th. Then April 1st, he passed away. But that night in my life, I will never forget all of the things that happened and just how magic it was, and to be on this moment. And, you know, I think we all felt that maybe it wasn't going to be forever. And I think in my mind, I wanted to like capture it all, and then to even have been a part of his funeral. I mean, those were his family members in the club. Joe was sick with cancer. Fortunately, he's cancer free now, but you know, I had to help Joe with the eulogy. I mean, just the job was so much more than a normal job. It was everything. You know, and then you know, that day we went to Frankie's funeral, and that's where I met Jamie Principal, and we all sat together, and just to be even arm's length was just such an honor. And you never have any, you know, people throw around the word to say you're humbled. It is humbling, genuinely. You never feel smaller than when you're around Frankie and Louie and Jamie and those people. You know, they are titans. You know, Jamie started making those records when he was 16 years old. You know? Yeah. So, a long answer to a short question.
No,
I did. I am and was humbled to literally sit at his feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't have much to add to that. That's beautiful. And I hope he must have been teary-eyed when he heard all the happy birthdays downstairs coming through.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. It was a special moment for everybody, and I'm glad that in my life that's a keeper.
Beautiful. I mean, a shout out, rest in peace to the master,
The one.
Frankie. Well, talking about Chicago, we have another beautiful friend of ours coming from Chicago, the beautiful Honey Dijon.
Ah!
Who you just played with at Coachella 2 weekends in a row. How was that? Give us the vibe. Was Coachella past COVID? How was it with Honey?
Oh, it was so good. Honey is just...
She's the best.
She's the best.
Yeah.
you know, we have toured quite a bit together, and it's just always thrilling to play with her and see what she's going to do. And you learn so much. And, you know, the way that Honey occupies her space in the lineage of Chicago house people, just there's no one like her. She has fought tooth and nail for every square inch, and I want her to have everything that she wants forever. And she is, and I have said this before, but she is the high priestess of Black girl magic. She is all of those things, and I love her sense of abundance and just the energy that she brings to the things that she loves to do. She has staked her claim on this planet, and there will never be anyone like her. And I hope she continues to get everything she deserves. And just in general, I just have so much love for her because she's not just a great artist, but she's a great friend. And she has been one of the kindest to me.
I hope she's going to hear that. I'm going to tell her to listen to this episode.
She knows. I tell her all the time. I'm so weepy. I'm like, I love you. You're the best.
So what was it like? You were playing back-to-back? Killing at Coachella?
You know,
slaying at Coachella, closing the tent, I heard.
Yeah, well, we closed the whole festival.
Damn!
It was, you know what I have to say? I think that every homosexual in the state of California was there. We were playing, and Honey looked over at me, and she goes, "It is gay in here." And I was like, "Yeah, girl, it is very gay." It was great. Honestly, it felt so lovely to kind of have that moment. I think it's something that, as objectively as you can kind of think about yourself and where either she or I was 20 years ago. We are obviously very different people, but we are also two girls that scrapped up from the bottom.
Hustle the way up. Yeah, I first met Honey in, I think 2011. I was the music director at the Boomer Room at the Standard.
Oh, right.
And I had booked Numi Roos a couple of times, and Numi, I think, introduced her to Honey, yeah. And then I'll never forget the first time I met Honey. And I agree with you, like, kudos to her. She's been, like, hustling. This girl's been around. She's been working where she is now. I'm so proud of her. I keep telling her when I see her. But I never forget. She came to the, I don't know if you know the booth at Boomer Room, but it was, yeah. And I'll never forget that. This is like CDs still. People still play it with CDs.
Physical CDs.
We're DJing with CDJs, but with CDs. USBs weren't really that thing yet. It's slight just before Serato and all the laptops. And she just showed up, not with like a CD folder like most DJs had. She came up with like piles and piles of CDs in their literal original cases. And they were like all over. I was like, what is she doing? What is that?
I love that.
And it was like, you were like in her living room, you know? Like she made the booth like in her living room. Like you were sitting on the floor going through CDs. It was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
That's how we became friends. That's
She's
how it started,
great.
yeah.
She's great. And honestly, I don't know how she becomes more beautiful every year, but every time I see her, I'm like, I'm just going to go crawl under a rug. Just effortless, chic, the body, the hair, everything. My God, she is just one of the chicest creatures that has ever walked this earth.
Yeah, I agree. And also a little shout out to our girl, Grace, Madame Je. She was performing and dancing. Isn't she great?
I'm obsessed.
She's amazing.
Madame Zhuzh.
Madame
Yes.
Zhuzh, yeah.
Come
Give us
on.
the Zhuzh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. The girls seriously burned it down. It was like, there was a couple moments. I mean, it was just, I will never forget it in my whole life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's on your brain.
It's in there.
Well, you did some amazing edits and beautiful work with Club Future Nostalgia for our girl Dua Lipa.
Yes.
Nailed it. Well done.
Thank you.
That kind of opened up a whole new audience to you, no?
Yeah, totally. Never thought I'd have people requesting Dua Lipa songs at shows.
Do you get them now in the club?
Oh, totally. Yeah. My tour manager told me, she's like, yeah, like She's like, I never want to tell you during the set. She's like, but lots of people request that Fred song and then Dua Lipa stuff. I was like, that seems right.
But you play there, or you're like?
I almost never play my own music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Although I am testing stuff from my album right now, but I don't typically when something is out, I don't play it.
I get that. No, totally. Because you have your vision anyway. You playing the other day, the soundtrack you're trying to build, and bringing your own in that field. It's a bit.
It feels a bit Jeff Mills play the bells kind of.
Exactly.
You know, like, I
mean, none of those guys play the hits,
right?
Or try to avoid it at least.
Yeah, I totally know why people love those songs. And I think there's just a little part of it also that for me, like, I feel a little shy about stuff, and part of the fun of DJing is getting to hide behind other people's music. So
press play.
Yes, just play the hits.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it? Shut up and play the hits. Right?
Yeah, shut up and play the hits.
How did it come about? You and Dua, and I think it's a great record. Like the club, I told Dua that back then as well.
Oh, good.
And also like the Moody Man remix. I mean, like I was like, what? Like in that context, to hear like a pop star in the context of like our scene, you know.
I know.
World. So it was kind of
that was my goal. So when they, I had done a remix for Dua before, and then the plague came. We were all sitting there doing our little house on the prairie crafts. I tried to do embroidery.
How did that go?
It was fine.
Yeah.
I did well. I did fine. And so Dua's team hit me up, and we decided to make this little bizarro musical baby. And obviously she was really involved, and there were such a surreal thing. We're like FaceTiming. She's like, pause. What if Gwen Stefani wants to be on it? And I was like, okay. Well, Gwen's going to be on, Mark. And then it was like, have we sent this in here? I was like, no, I can go up and do like running upstairs. Of course, I haven't put on clothes other than pajamas. And just the whole thing is just like completely bizarre. It was such a weird thing. And, Dua loves dance music, like legitimately. And so I think
uplifting and fun. And I think also during that period to have that warmth and positivity was a game changer.
I think we were all kind of holding on for dear life in the same way. anything, just anything. Just somebody turn on a blinking light, something. Totally. And it became this kind of like labor of love but at the same time, it happened completely alone. I mean, I was shielding, which I don't know if that's the word they use in America, but in here, the NHS could tell you, you're super high risk, and so you can't leave the house at all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and at the time, I had really terrible asthma, and they were like, if you get COVID, you're going to die, so you have to stay home. And I was like, so I wasn't allowed to leave the house for like a year.
Fuck. How was that? Damn. No, let's not go into that. Let's stay on the positive.
So 3 months of that was doing Club Future Nostalgia. So I got completely into it. Like, I mean, and of course it was like I had to build a home studio. I couldn't leave, so I had to do everything at home.
Yeah.
I didn't have this. And there's no engineers, there's no nothing like that. And then also they were like, well, you need to make like 3 things. But then on top of it, I also kind of remixed all the remixes. So if you listen to like the long versions versus what's on the album, they're all a little bit different. I was like, so give me the pieces for everything.
The stems. I'll call you in 3 months.
Yeah, literally. And they're like, okay, we're gonna clear samples for you. So I'm like, I'd never been through the sample clearance process, so
it's a process.
What
I mean, you had like at least the pros behind it. I imagine
for sure.
I mean,
I was having to take pictures of like the mix and show where things were down to the microsecond and all of that stuff. And then also on top of that to kind of make 3 records essentially. And part of that was making the Levitating remix, which was me making the remix and then getting the pieces from Madonna and Missy Elliott and trying to make a record at home like that. And then fortunately, Mike Dean mixed it. God bless him. Mike, the synth god, he is. And Mike absolutely did an incredible job. But, you know, I remember when we first got the Missy Elliott vocal, somebody just sent me like an MP4 over text. And I was like, what planet am I living on? And it actually, the project really opened up this whole new phase of things for me. I mean, certainly a big factor in me signing with Warner Brothers for my own album, and, you know, to kind of continue working in that little nucleus of people, which is what is happening now.
Amazing. Congrats.
Thanks.
See, the girl's been hustling.
Hustle. Get it.
Did you speak with Missy Elliott and Madonna at some point?
So I've never talked to Madonna to this day.
Yeah.
Which I feel
I'm sure we're going to make that happen somehow. Come on, Madonna. I'm trying to get on the show, too. I'll tell her once she's on the show.
Well, she and Honey are really good friends.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Madonna has people, you know. I think, honestly, I think I would have almost been too shy. Missy, yes. Missy is like the most down home.
Love.
I love her. Missy is
Missy,
so
come
nice.
on the show, please.
She probably would.
Yes?
She's lovely. Absolutely lovely. And Madonna was lovely too. I mean, everything, talk about professional. I mean, you know, everything came. There was multiple versions of stuff, and like it was just incredible. And it was through her that I got to work with Mike Dean. So all of that was like, it was just a dream come true. And I remain forever top Madonna stan. So
we start with Madonna, so here we are.
There we go. Yeah.
If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I could take you for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm where the music don't stop for life. Glitter in the sky, glitter in my eyes, shining just the way you like. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. You want me, I want you, baby, my sugar boo. I'm levitating, the Milky Way is separating, yeah. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night, come on dance with me. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night, come on dance with me.
And let's talk about your album.
Yeah,
Up.
it's almost done. I'm in the death throes of it right now. The back and forth over the last bits. It's the first time. Well, not this. The second time I've kind of ever worked in a big where there were people that I had to answer to.
Oh, an employee now. No more vice president of garbage.
That's right. That's right.
Back on the line.
That's right. I am not the vice president of garbage anymore. But in the best way, because it was actually a lot of the people that were involved with Club Future Nostalgia that I'm working with now.
Amazing.
And they gave me such latitude on that. I mean, to be able to have done that and have, you know, Moody Man and Midland and Louis Vega and, you know, the insanity of that project, it let me know that they would kind of give me a little space to run with on this, and they have. And also, as importantly though, the kind of the good pushback of like, you know, how do you take this thing that you're doing and have it make sense in lots of different contexts? And they have been incredible for that. And that's the part that I'm in right now, which is the like, you know, gotten through a lot of the features and all of that. And the writing process has been incredible. And because of it, I've started writing with other people and for other people, which was something I wasn't doing before. And I have loved that, like to start to work with pop writers. And that's just been incredible. Wow. It's just a whole second life for me that...
So unexpected.
Totally. Yeah. If you had told me that I would be writing on pop albums and loving it. Amazing. Loving it. Amazing. I love dance pop. I got to write with Neil Tennant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, that was cool.
Favorite Pet Shop Boys song?
King's Cross.
Ooh.
King's Cross. That's the one that just every time, that line, I've been good and I've been bad. I've been guilty of hanging around.
I've been good and I've been bad. I've been guilty of hanging around. Someone told me Monday, someone told me Saturday. Wait until tomorrow and there's still no way. Read it in a book or write it in a letter. Wake up in the morning and there's still no guarantee.
Motto. Same, Neil.
T-shirt.
Same. And he was tough fun to write with. We were going back and forth with lines. And so the idea that I would ever be like suggesting a lyric to Neil Tennant is just hysterical to me. And I would say something because, that's not very Neil Tennant. And then I would say something because, oh yes, that's very Neil Tennant. I'm like,
Talk about self-awareness.
I love that. Yeah.
Love it. Do we have a release date for the album?
So the singles are going to start coming in late summer.
Dum-da-da-dum.
And then the album itself will come next year, the full album. But I think people are going to be very surprised. It has been a really crazy process, but I am extremely proud of it, and I think it's going to be a real moment in a lot of ways.
Love it. Well, Maria, to go slightly more intimate, what's your go-to falling in love or heartbreak song?
Oh, falling in love. I don't ever want to be heartbroken again. So,
So let's stick with the positive.
we'll skip that. What about when my husband and I first started dating? He used to play this I'll Be Sure song. Well, it's what is it that Roberta Flack? Strumming my pain on this finger. Yeah, but there's a version of it that he sings in Spanish.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
All right.
it's great. So I'm gonna go with I'll Be Sure.
Do it. And when you're in the love-making mood, what's the sexiest song?
No! Well, I am a virgin. No, just kidding. Let's see. Romantic. I should have said I'll Be Sure for that, but let's say. What about Let's Figure It Out by Lattimore? Yeah, there we go.
Everybody's got to straighten out something sometime. I don't care how old you are or how young you are. I don't care if you're married, single, divorced, engaged, or shacking. You got to straighten out something every now and then. But I want you to think about all the times that you've heard somebody say, let's straighten it out. Think about it. And I guarantee you that most of the time, it was a man who said it. Now the reason why I say that is, well, let's face it, most of the time it's a man who makes it crooked in the first place. We don't mean no harm, that's just the way we are. Sometimes we do have a tendency to sort of take you for granted, don't we? Always acting like we don't understand some things. But I believe a woman feels things deeper than a man. I don't care what nobody says. I believe a woman loves stronger than a man.
Or what about, maybe, you know what, I'd like to change my answer.
We're going to play both.
Teddy Pendergrass, Turn Off the Lights.
Oh, we love Teddy.
Turn them off. that's my go-to.
I love it.
Turn off the lights and light a candle. Tonight I'm in a romantic mood. Yeah. Let's take a shower together. I'll wash your body, you wash mine, yeah. Rub me down in some hot oils, baby, yeah. And I'll do the same thing to you. Just turn off the lights. Come to me.
Well, to wrap up our little chat, if your life would be a movie, what song would play in the end credits? The Blessed Madonna documentary, part 1.
Oh, that's a tough one. Let's see here. Wild Combination by Arthur Russell.
That's us before we got there. That's morning time before we got there. That's morning time before we got there. That's morning time before we got there.
Why?
Because I think, like, you know, Arthur's whole thing about improvisation, just in general, you know, first thought, best thought, this kind of Buddhist approach to making music, and just also his willingness to experiment and spend time with sound, the number of tapes that he made of himself, and also because, you know, Arthur was also from a rural place, and I am too. You know, I'm from Kentucky, and I really relate to some of his trip from kind of coming from a more like farmland thing to this really completely different universe. And he's probably the person that I, in different projects, am kind of always referencing and thinking about. And Wild Combination is, you know, that's the one. You can't just play that one. You gotta earn it. And hopefully at the end of my movie I've earned it.
You gotta earn it. I love it. Let's wrap it up with that. The Blessed Madonna, Maria, the Black Madonna, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Thank you for being on air with us.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. That was great.
It's a wild, it's a loving baby. It's a talk in the dark. It's a walk in the morning. It's a wild combination. It's a wild combination. It's a wild, it's a loving baby. It's a talk in the dark. It's a walk in the morning.
Thank you for tuning in this week. If you want to listen to the full playlist, visit areonair.com or our Spotify channel. You can also find us on Instagram and on YouTube at areonair. And a big thank you to my wonderful team at Studio Neu. I'm Armand Lafay, and I'll speak to you soon.